All right, and we're back. So what's happening today is we're still working on the hole for this leach pit, or leach field I should say rather, because it's not a pit going in here. This leach field for the septic system, and it's a pretty big hole. So the hole is, I believe, 60 by 40 with the overdig. So it's a good size hole. We just need to get that corner out that he's sitting on and digging out of right now, and then the hole is good. But because the leach field here needs to be at sand and soil that perks, we need to go down to where the sand actually is, and then we need to bring in more sand to bring it up to the correct level where it can perk correctly. The problem with this stuff, as you might be able to tell, is it's all clay. It's no good. It's crap. It's just like real like concrete, especially when it's frozen. Over there, it was mud, and now it's all frozen. It's like walking on really rigid concrete. But yeah, this stuff does not perk. So we need to get it down to the sand and then add more sand in to bring the level up to what we need. We got the skid steer here today as well, because we're gonna have to be bucketing this stuff way back up there. Okay, he just said to grab the grease gun. All right, so yeah, yeah, and I'm not walking on these people's lawn. The property line is actually right there. So, yeah, even the mailbox is on the wrong side, but you know, it happens. All right, setting up the laser transit. All right, turn this on. I like to tap the tight range once. You get one little double beep. I believe I'm gonna have to go lower. We have to be 10.68, so 10.68 feet under top of concrete. So when I shot top of concrete, it was 1.88 right there. And we added the 1.88 here that I just got from shooting the top of the concrete. And we got 12.56. So I'm gonna set that to 12.56 now. So yeah, 12.56. Boom. So when the machines are running and the transit's way up there, it's kind of hard to hear the beeping sometimes, but it's not that bad today. Right there, I doubt you could hear it. So it's about 7 inches off the ground from this lowest point right there in this hole is grade. So 7 inches up from there is where we need to be. We got excavator cleaning up the hole, gonna be getting all this muck out. If I'm not mistaken, this is sand, it's just frozen. Yeah, it is. And then skid steer is gonna be bucketing it over to stack on that tall hill that's way over there. I usually don't like being in holes and trenches and whatnot. Definitely never trenches unless there's like a trench box or it's like, you know, below my neck. But this one's so big, all these walls could cave in right now and they wouldn't be anywhere near me. Okay, so we are a little low over here, but this is all clay. We can't put the leach field on this because it won't perk. It won't perk correctly. Clay. It's like all clay. He was just asking because this looks sandy. It's just sandy clay though. Like you see all this like that, it's all clay. And yeah, there is some sand mixed in here, but as soon as you kick it down, It's more clay, and then all right there. It's mixed. Some spots are clay, some aren't. Like closer to you is clay, and then farther over here is sand.
That's the layer we gotta be in.
Yeah. The edge of the wall is all clay, like close to the wall. Yeah. So that's the difficulty in doing septics where there's no sand under. Because it does need to perk. The water needs to be able to seep through and get digested by the soil, and that just doesn't happen with clay. So even if we have to go lower than grade, because right now that is lower than grade, about where he's digging, I'd say about 8 to 9 inches up is where we need to be.
Hey, so we just gotta remember, anything below that grade mark, any deeper, so you held that up, we're like 8 inches deeper or whatever, anything deeper than where that toad is, he owes your dad extra.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, it probably cost the homeowner builder a bit more money, because we have a thing where if we have to go below what the plans say, we're not responsible for having to get rid of this dirt and then bring in new dirt. Luckily, that doesn't happen every time, luckily, you know, because that would, you know, people would just factor it into the jobs. If that happened every time, it wouldn't be a separate clause, because it doesn't happen every job with septics where you have to actually charge more for having to dig deeper than what the plans that you're given say.
This isn't sand in here.
Clay. Hold on, let me touch it. All right, so now we're gonna come touch over here. Ah, see how it doesn't fall apart? Ah, that's clay. Definitely clay. And then that's clay. But I mean, this is sand.
Yeah, you're gonna have that mix just because of what we're digging in, but
Yeah, there's clay like in it, but this is sand.
yeah.
I think the clay chunks.
As long as you're punched through Bryson,
Yeah.
to that sand layer, like the water's gonna find its way in. Like if there's little pieces, it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like those chunks,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there. And then we're bringing it up 2 feet with sand
Yeah.
on top of that. So as long as there's like sand pockets,
Yeah, this is all sand then. I think this clay chunk is just from pulling backwards and it gets dragged. Yeah, so all these clay chunks are actually just from pulling over here where it's heavily clay. So yeah, that's all sand now, so that's good. Now we're gonna start taking this out. This is probably, I'd say, from there up to there, I'd say like 4 feet almost. I'd say, yeah, about 4 feet. So all this over here, and then that is probably about my height. From there to that peak right there, it's about my height. So that's gotta come out. And yeah, this stuff's so nice. I wanna go sledding on it. It's like white, it's like mimic snow. It's nice, white and powdery. Look at that. If I had a sled, I'd have so much fun right now. Looks like he's ramping. Got to get it up higher. It's funny when you see that from like an outside perspective, not in the machine, you're like, oh yeah, it's just like a slight incline. But I always like think to myself while I'm doing it, I'm like, damn, like I feel like I'm leaning all the way back, you know? But you're not. You just feel like you are. It's just a weird feeling. If you don't like roller coasters, that would suck for you. it's so amazing to me that these machines, not only do they lift the dirt or whatever they're lifting, grabbing whatever logs, dirt, you know, if you chain something to it and you're lifting it up with the machine, not only do they lift that, but they're lifting the thumb, the bucket, the stick. It's crazy, you know. Truly amazing, I think, what hydraulics can do. You know, you see the bucket independently from the machine, like when it's not attached, and you're like, holy hell, like, you know, that's solid steel, like that thing's huge. And then bam. So now you gotta think, like mining excavators, those buckets you could like put a small bedroom in, you know, and those not only lift those with ease, but all the rock, dirt, aggregate, whatever they're moving, and make it look easy. It's crazy. Well, there's our sand layer right there. Bryson's stacking up the fill. We gotta go this way, but we're running out of room, but we can't take out too much, because if we take out too much fill, we'd have to truck the fill back in to fill this back in over the system, because the system is like 200 yards of material, sand and stone, probably like, yeah, like 250 yards of material. So we took out 250 yards of clay, like the crap, and now I'm mixing the clay and the sand as we go to stack it up, and it's making nice fill. But once we put the system in, when we fill this up with sand, put the system in, I need the 200 yards of material to go back over the top of it. Luckily, this job site has room, because if this was at someone's house, everything would have to be trucked out and all trucked back in, so. Okay, we're just showing up here. It's a cold, frosty morning, but we dug this out probably about 2 feet lower than what you're looking at, and then got a few loads of screen sand in here. My brother and my buddy's truck are on the way with loads of sand, so I got to get this thing fired up. I parked it here last night so I could put fuel in it. All right, I got the truck dumping off the edge here. We'll see him in a minute when he comes back. My brother's truck broke down, so he's not gonna make it yet. He doesn't believe in fuel conditioner, I guess. The truck was sputtering, so he thinks his fuel filter was gelling up. Being his older brother, I gave him a bunch of shit for not putting fuel treatment in it, because that's like a no-no for me. But anyways, he might be here later, he might not. So this leach field, all the neighbors are like, oh my god, it's so deep and whatever. But I'll be perfectly honest with you, this is not the deepest one I've seen, or the deepest one I've done. This is probably the biggest and deepest one we've done on YouTube. But I've had some a long time ago when I worked for the big construction company. We'd have a 325 down there, bailing up to a 315, bailing up to a loader, putting the dirt on a truck and trucking it out. Now, the houses in here were all, the house lots were sold by the same family. Sold all this land to all these homeowners long time ago. It's like 5th generation, maybe. We're going into like 5th generation with that family. The great grandfather or whoever owned all this land. So the house down there, down in the hole, is the daughter of the guy that sold this lot. Actually, he sold this lot to his other daughter, and then she turned around and he gave this lot to his other daughter. She turned around, she sold it. However, he told me that one down there, septic 32 feet or 30 feet, and one on the other side of this house is a brand new house down over there, and that one was like 30 something feet. Is this my truck? Oh man, he's like a rocket ship, this dude. I love it. Go fast, Eddie. Well, the gravel pit's just on the other side of the bridge. I'm getting some good loads too. Normally they'll only put light loads on there, but it's a camera. YouTube. Smile. Oh, it's a bolt. I want to minimize spillage on the road. We're supposed to get heavy rain tomorrow, so what that means is I'm probably going to address this silt fence. I might go buy some more silt fence and put it around that pile, like so it catches it, so it doesn't silt up my sand here, because that's, you know, I might take the bucket and push that fill back a little bit. That got spilt when we were digging over there. We used that to level off the machine. It was sitting wonky, if that's a word, wonky. Second verse, same as the first. I can dump 2 loads before I start to move it, which is nice because it's coffee time. Starting to warm up out. Everything's turning into mud again, but my buddy James is in the machine. We're almost getting there. Truck's coming back. I got the skid steer warming up because it's gonna rain tomorrow really bad, I guess. So what I'm gonna try to do is stack some of that fill, like push that fill pile up, and then put a little water berm along the edge of the hole so that silty clay dirt doesn't wash back in. Although when we were digging this, the sand was getting mixed with it, because when you dig down to the sand level, obviously you pull some of the sand up. So that fill up there, you can see it like right there. It's got sand and it's mixed, so it's actually pretty good fill now. The engineer actually okayed it for backfill material, because contract said like remove and replace the clay, but when we took it out and I mixed sand with it and it stirred it around, he checked it out and okayed it, and he says it's suitable soil for backfill now. One more load of sand, then we're gonna climb up here and we're gonna load that fill onto the truck, or most of it onto the truck. Probably not the whole thing. That looks like it won't fit. But I get rid of most of it because the truck has to go back to the shop anyways, and they have a fill pile there, and fill is a hot commodity, so we'll give that to Nick just to get it out of here. And then I'm gonna button this up. We're supposed to be getting a nasty rainstorm in the next few days.